All right, everybody. If we could kind of get settled. I know there's some people standing. There's plenty of seats up here in the front. Welcome to kind of come down. No one needs to stand through this. Okay, perfect. I'd like to call up our president, President Nariman Favardin, if you could help us kick off the Ansary competition for this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm delighted to see so many happy faces here. We are getting close to the final stage of our Innovation Expo Day. The day started with the phenomenal Thomas H. Scholl lecture by a visiting entrepreneur. And since then, we have had nothing but excitement upon excitement. I am sure you've had a chance to visit some of the products of our students' incredible work that's been on display and continues to be on display for some more time. I want to thank you for being here. We are now getting to sort of the final stage of this day where you will have the opportunity to see amazing work that our students have done in the form of the 10 final projects that are participating in the Ansary Entrepreneurship competition. You will see how our students are using their creativity, ingenuity, problem-solving skills to come up with some very impressive, innovative solutions to problems that you will see. So, not knowing what is going to happen as a result of this competition, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate from the bottom of my heart these incredible students who are sitting there. I know their hearts are palpitating. Congratulations. Congratulations on completing your studies at Stevens. Congratulations on completing your senior design projects, and congratulations for getting to this point. We are immensely proud of you. I want to take this opportunity also to thank those mentors and advisors and faculty members who have guided these students and provided supervision and help to bring them to this point. I want to thank our wonderful judges, whom you will be introduced to very soon, for giving us their time and making this event more of an exciting event. Obviously, my remarks cannot be complete without thanking our outstanding friends, the Ansary family, that has generously provided support for the Ansary Entrepreneurship competition. Unfortunately, I do not believe we have members of the family here with us, but maybe they're watching us from a distance. Maybe they'll be watching this video, but I want them to know that we're incredibly grateful to them for their friendship, for their support, and for their continued generosity. At this point in time, what I would like to do, I'd like to remove myself from the stage and hand it off to the incredible MC who's been helping us, I would say, for more than a decade in these types of activities, our good friend, Mr. Aaron Price. Aaron has been very well known to our community, so he doesn't need much of an introduction, but let me just say that Aaron is currently CEO of Tech United New Jersey, or Tech United NJ. This is an entity that used to be called the New Jersey Technology Council, the largest regional community of innovators, entrepreneurs, investors, and professional providers. Previously, Aaron served as the founder and CEO of Propelify. I think one of Aaron's claims to fame is coining a new word in the English dictionary, Propelify, a media and events organization that united thousands of entrepreneurs, literally thousands of entrepreneurs, who propel ideas into action. Aaron has served as the tech community expert for the White House under the Obama administration, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, Fast Company, Entrepreneur Magazine, and the Wall Street Journal. He has founded several technology startups. He started when he was 5 years old, behaving like an entrepreneur. His activities include Deliver You, Affordables, WeCraft, and LiveCube. Aaron started his first commercial venture in high school. I was not joking when I was telling you when he was 5 years old. He was a little older than 5, but he did that after he was awarded a patent for a weightlifting device. Aaron, you should tell us a little bit about this weightlifting device and tell us what you do with it. Aaron lives in Hoboken with his wife, and the startups of which he and his wife are most proud, their 2 daughters and their dog. Is it Milo or Milo? Milo. Aaron Weiss, please come to the stage.
I did, in fact, attend high school at 5 years old. It's great to be back with everyone again. This is an event that I look forward to tremendously throughout the year. I have been an entrepreneur for my entire life. My brother and I used to be in great shape and could do lots of pull-ups and dips, and we thought, wouldn't it be great if you could add more resistance to your body weight to do pull-ups and dips? So we invented something called the Body Weight Plus. This is the patented device we were referring to, that allowed you to add weight to your body to do pull-ups and dips. The problem is, how many people here can do like 20 pull-ups or dips right now? Like maybe one of you. So that was my first lesson in what's called the total addressable market, of like 3 people in the world who needed, or in this case, did not need this device. But since then, I have found other things that actually had a market. I think it's interesting that you bring up the other lesson here of inventing a word, Propellify, is only the result of having been sued for trademark infringement when we called it originally Propeller. So you learn a lot along the way about both addressable market and the legality of the pursuits, the business pursuits in which we try to make a difference. But again, every single year I am so blown away. I have been doing this for a long time. I started my first real tech business at the University of Maryland in 1999. It was online food ordering like Seamless is today, in a very different world. And the ideas that you're about to hear today are incredible and inspiring and surrounded by really phenomenal support in Stevens. And so again, how about a big round of applause for all of today's finalists, as well as Stevens for making this possible, and the Ansary family for supporting this for so many years. If you're not aware, this has been going on since March. 120 teams applied. It's been narrowed down to 45. This week, they've been going through the process of getting feedback and narrowing it down to today's top 10. And so before we get started, I thought I'd read you this poem. Stevens Institute of Tech, where the students are quick and slick, with brains as sharp as a tack and creativity that doesn't lack. Now keep in mind, ChatGPT wrote this poem. From Castle Point, you'll see the skyline of NYC, where the future is bright and the possibilities take flight. But don't let the studies get you down. There's always time for fun around town. From Hoboken bars to the River Walk, you'll never run out of ways to talk. So come and join the Stevens crew, where learning is fun and laughter is too. We'll welcome you with open arms and show you the joy of our campus charms. Next year, I expect to see a lot of AI on stage. So with that, how about a round of applause for ChatGPT? Amazing. You guys don't seem that excited about it. I think it's like the next most amazing thing in the planet, in the world. So I want to welcome our judges out and thank them for their dedication to giving feedback to these teams over the last several weeks. So here we go. Come on out. Bill Noonan. And you could just clap them out. How about that? Bill Noonan, Susan Schofer, Judith Sheft. You got to bring some more energy here. Come on. Simon Kai, Giuseppe Inciti, Laura Paglione, Rita Soni, Quorum Gore, Bernu Aral. All right, please take your seats. So here's how this is going to go. We have 3 rounds. We're going to bring out different pitch teams to share their presentations, their learnings, and field questions from the judges. And then at the end, we're going to award over $15,000, $10,000, $5,000, and $2,500 to the top 3 teams. So without further ado, can the first 3, oh, I'm sorry, there is further ado. we need to say hello to some judges. We're going to start with someone who represents New Jersey in Bill Noonan. Bill, can you share a little bit about yourself quickly and maybe something that impressed you in this year's, what's that?
Am I supposed to take this? Yes,
Yeah,
there we
mic
go.
helps.
I'm going to stand then. Hi, I'm Bill Noonan. I am the Chief Business Development Officer of Choose New Jersey. Choose New Jersey, for those of you who don't know, is an economic development organization, privately funded, a 501c3, and our mission is domestically and globally to bring businesses to the great state of New Jersey. There were a number of spectacular submissions, some that I know exactly where they could be useful in some of the work that I do, and we've already been talking about how we might be able to support some of these folks. So congratulations to all the teams, and thank you so much.
All right. Laura Paglione, can you say hello? No, you can't.
Hi, I'm Laura Paglione. I am an alumni of Stevens, class of '90, and I am currently an independent consultant, but in my work in entrepreneurship has been with the Kauffman Foundation, which is a private foundation that supports entrepreneurship. I was a grants officer there for a number of years, and working on a platform that was to support entrepreneurs. And I also was the founding technical director of Orchid, which was my most successful startup, but it was a nonprofit, and it provides unique identifiers for researchers, which you think wouldn't be a business, but it actually is a huge business. And we got 5 million users in 5 years, so really big company. Thank you.
Thank you. And how about Bernur Aral? Can you say hello?
Hi, my name is Birnur Aral. I'm a graduate of the graduate school in chemical engineering. I have a PhD degree. I work for a media brand right now for the last 15 years. Good Housekeeping brand has been around for 138 years, and I at the testing arm, the Good Housekeeping Institute, and we test consumer products, and I'm in charge of the testing for cosmetics, health, and sustainability lab. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have toured that lab, and it is super awesome what you do at Good Housekeeping with that lab. So, can I welcome the first 3 teams to please come out? Please help me welcome Heal the Soul, No Till Drill, and ID Deck. You guys can grab a mic. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. What team are you with?
I'm with No Till Drill.
Okay, so you get to go first. Can you just share with the audience, 60 seconds quickly, 60-second pitch on what No Till Drill is all about?
So our product is a sustainable agriculture tool, which is meant to optimize existing tools used in no-till agriculture. And no-till agriculture is basically a way to farm without disturbing soil's microbiome. It has great benefits for reducing fertilizer usage, for reducing soil erosion, and for increasing quality crop yield around the world.
So judges, this is an open question. What were some of the learnings, feedback on their pitch, on the business viability for no-till drill? And by the way, we're going to do one team at a time and bounce around, so you guys will be on deck.
So I'm Judith Sheff from the Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology. Let me go first and say I think there's a lot of great opportunities for federal funding to advance further the technology that you've been working on, and I would encourage you to look at the Small Business Innovation Research Program, particularly grants from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, because again, this is something that could be particularly useful across the country, and I was really very pleased with that. And also kind of like to know a little bit about where you think you might be getting the product manufactured.
So at this stage, we've only done prototyping at this point. We don't have an idea of where we would manufacture it. In terms of next steps for the project, me and Dulcie are both continuing in a graduate program here at Stevens to do more sustainable work. And actually at the Expo, I met a guy who was talking about an upstart that could potentially get in contact with us. So I guess we're still waiting to see on what is next.
So one other resource for anybody who's doing manufacturing is the New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program, NJMEP, and they can connect you with New Jersey manufacturers who might be interested in working with you on developing prototypes.
Hi, my name is Rita Soni. I'm also a graduate of Stevens. And I just really was very excited about this project. I don't think that many of us think about farming, and it's so important. What I was curious about was in thinking about, I mean, what I also loved about it is the sustainability component, that it's a retrofit and not a whole new piece of equipment. I was wondering if anything international came to your thoughts when you're looking at the design and when you're looking at kind of marketing it. Literally, just on the way here from Brooklyn, I was reading an article about meeting the climate hackers of Malawi, farmers, and small-scale farmers. So it seems like this is something that is useful globally.
Yeah, so definitely I've been inspired. I proposed the project, so I've been very inspired by farmers around the world. Our design itself was actually based on a lot of designs that are seen in America primarily. One of the instigating factors in me coming up with this project was the story about a man in Eastern Europe who was hacking into John Deere tractors in order to get around their proprietary coding. So that got me thinking about ways that agriculture could be improved that maybe are outside the huge multinational corporations that aren't always the most efficient to the proper solution.
Hi, I'm Susan Schofer, an investor at SOSV. We're a global venture capital firm, and also I'm Chief Science Officer at HAX, which is a hardware startup development program just down the street from here in Newark. So we're super excited about what you guys are doing. I think my question to you is, how do you think about, as you turn this into a business, how do you really think about protecting your competitive advantage and really having a moat around the unique technology and know-how that you have?
Right, so in some of the Q&A, we've talked to you guys about this. We believe that two aspects of our design are potentially viable for a patent. We haven't, at this point, pursued it, but it could be an option in the future. Also, very common in the agricultural industry is licensing out your designs to the big corporations like John Deere. They're known for buying out smaller corporations, so a way for our product to make the biggest difference that it can would be to get into the hands of people like John Deere who can produce it at a larger scale.
Thanks. Also, just to say, I think John Deere is really moving in the direction of automation, robotics, IoT, and so I think that's a big opportunity because that's really what they're looking to do in the future.
Yeah, ideally for our next future big steps with the company, we're saying to ideally partner with those larger companies because they have that already standing manufacturers and ability to help this idea come to fruition.
Is the team just the two of you?
No, there's 6 of us.
Okay.
The rest of our team's over there.
Hello, rest of team. For the two of you representing the team, what's been the biggest takeaway or learning in this experience?
Honestly, okay, so Peter came into it. He knew the whole original farm idea. It was his original concept. I came into it because I'm really into sustainability, and the whole thing is fighting the climate crisis. We're both staying for a master's in sustainability. And it kind of just shows how we can actively make a change and actually help fight the climate crisis. You want to say?
For me as well, I think the engineering side of it, I got a lot, honestly, more out of it than I thought I would. None of us really had any background in agriculture, so we really had to learn this from the beginning. I knew I was interested in agriculture, that's why I proposed it, but we had to learn so much about the industry and seeing how to learn, not only learning about the agriculture industry, but understanding more how to learn about potential future interests was a big benefit for me.
Well, congrats on making it this far.
Thank you.
Round of applause for no-till drill. Heal the Soul. Who's Heal the Soul? You guys? Yes.
Yes, we are representing Heal the Soul.
So can we get the 60-second pitch?
Sure. So Heal the Soul, our aim is to develop a medical device that's designed for diabetic patients. So in a lot of diabetic patients, foot ulcers are a common problem that occurs, and due to neuropathy, these patients are unable to see these ulcers that are forming on the bottom of their feet. So given that problem, we have developed a device that works on both temperature detection as well as a massage feature to increase the blood circulation in the foot. So increasing blood circulation in the foot can help preventing ulcers in the future, and then temperature detection has been found as the major way to detect if a potential ulcer can form in a certain region of the foot. So our device features both a massage and a temperature detection that can see different ranges of the foot and tell us what parts of the foot are most at risk for ulcers so that diabetic patients can prevent amputation.
All right, well done. Judges, feedback, questions?
So, yeah, obviously it's a, good problem to solve or worthwhile problem to solve, but can you tell us a little bit about what hurdles or you expect or what processes you need to go for it to be approved as a medical device?
Yes. So, so we think the biggest hurdle would really be leveraging our network to really convert our product design to a mass manufacturing scale. So because there's so many diabetics out there in the world who could really experience this problem, I think our problem is really our knowledge of how to convert it to mass production and how to leverage our network to know people to actually be able to help us use a large amount of supplies to get it out there to the population.
Do you think you'll also need some legal advice in terms of bringing it through the FDA, device approval process? Is that part of your ask?
Yes, definitely. So I think the legal aspect of it, that process has already been started given the Stevens intellectual property agreement. So that was kind of the first stage. And then once we get past that, that can be kind of filed and forwarded next into the FDA. So of course, once we get to that stage, any kind of legal advice would be appreciated because that is now expanding past the Stevens horizon and into federal regulation.
Thank you.
Have you looked at what the competition is doing? I'm familiar with some other projects, both in the United States as well as in Europe, where, as you say, this is a global problem. So how is your product differentiated from some of the other research and work that's out there?
Yes. So I would say our biggest competitor, there's this smart mat out there made by Podiametrics. They have a smart mat that really uses like thermal imaging on the entire foot. And the thermal imaging, they would find the hot spots on the foot to detect ulceration. And there's like an app, and it connects to your doctor, and your doctor is alerted. But and then another competitor is like the obvious ones that you see on Amazon, the foot massagers that you see. But both of those are both very different from what we were trying to do. So what we did was the ones that you see on Amazon, they also provide heat, and that's also really counterintuitive because diabetics are at increased risk of ulceration from hot spots on their foot. So in addition, the Podiametrics one with the thermal imaging, in literature, they found that the IR temperature detection was typically the go-to way to detect the hot spots on the foot. So our IR temperature detection uses the 5 main hot spots on the foot, which is the big toe, the little toe, the ball of your foot, the arch of your foot, and the heel. So we go to all of those locations and provide an accurate measurement with the IR temperature rather than the thermal imaging. But they also don't really have a preventative measure. They don't really use the massaging feature that we have. We simulate deep tissue massage with the ball bearing that we have to go up and down the foot to force blood through capillaries and really get that prevention going besides detection. So we're kind of like both technologies combined without being counterintuitive.
So I think when you go to ultimately get a patent, you'll kind of want to be sure that you look at those things so that you don't have someone else trying to jump in and kind of reverse engineer
Exactly.
a copycat type product.
Exactly.
Simon, last question. I see you sitting back there.
My name is Simon Kai. I graduated from Stevens with a master's and PhD in physics. And I'm very impressed by your understanding of your competitive advantage, which is your core competency. And for core competency you have for a student design project, you need to build a lot of other things around it to make a business success. And the partnership is very important. And I think you have talked about the CVS and so on and so forth, and how you're going to do this partnership to make the partnership a success so you can bring the product to the market.
I'll do like the first one. So there's going to be a couple of people that we hope would really help us with this. So we first want to target like big medical device companies, like Johnson & Johnson Medical Devices there in Rahway. So we feel like they would really have the knowledge and expertise to provide guidance for converting to mass production. And then CVS, big box stores like Walgreens and the like, even like a Wegmans, could carry this in their pharmacy sections. So they would be like our distribution channel that we really need to focus on getting them involved as well. So there's an application process to really get them to help you distribute your product. So once the application process is complete, then it's really a matter of leveraging your network once again about who you know and how you can use that to your advantage to get some processes moved along quicker and more easily.
Right, so once that distribution network is established, we will be able to get our product not only mass produced, but then also sent to these other vendors and suppliers such as CVS, Walgreens that we mentioned before.
That's great. And again, I'm quite impressed you talk about what CVS should get from this. So interest alignment is very important when you try to forge some partnership. Thank you.
We're running a little short on time, but I want to give you an opportunity for that same question on your biggest takeaway or learning from this experience.
Sure, so I would say our biggest takeaway was learning like the true meaning of biomedical engineering. So biomedical engineering is a field that pulls together electrical, mechanical, all sorts of different environmental factors. So being able to analyze all these different aspects of engineering and create one medical device that does work, as if anyone saw it at the Expo, it is a functioning device. I think that was truly the best takeaway that we were able to get.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Heal the soul. And lastly, ID Deck.
Yeah, so a big problem today is that the Googles, the Amazons, the TikToks, they own all of your data and sell it for a huge profit that you don't even see a penny of. So we're Team ID Deck, and we want to build a Web3 data management application that gives users complete control and ownership over their data. And then when users upload their data to ID Deck, it'll be fully encrypted, stored decentrally, and secured by blockchain. And then they'll be able to grant or revoke access to data to potential purchasers who might want to buy their data. And an easy example to bring up with this is patient data in the medical industry, which Sam can talk more on.
Yeah, so a specific example in the healthcare industry is for health records are currently being, a ton of money is being spent to store these health records, and they're dormant, they're not being worked because the only way to access these data is to ask the patient specifically to remain HIPAA compliant. But with our features, since the patient is the single point of contact for this request, whenever a research study is requesting access to your data, you're the only person of contact that they need, and you can then be compensated for your engagement with your health records in this research study. So that's a specific example, but there are a ton of other use cases that we're excited to pursue.
Excellent. Judges, Giuseppe, how you doing back there?
Is this on? Hi, everyone. Giuseppe Ansary, CEO of SiteTracker. I wanted to hear a bit more about those other use cases. So the medical records one's a great one. It seemed like a really wide idea where you could have many use cases, but sometimes in a startup, doing one use case extremely well is the key to really getting rolling. So I'm just curious, what's the key use case?
Yeah, definitely the key use case that we want to pursue, especially because of our recent connections that we've made in Hoboken at CarePoint Hospital, is the healthcare industry. So that's something that we're all in on. What we're excited about opening up is that our underlying technology, we want to build developer tools and open source these tools and provide API keys so that we could still rake in some revenue, but allow developers to then, if they're interested in these open use cases, which I, for instance, think like machine learning data sets, whether it's artwork or any other type of data-heavy machine learning focuses. Now these developers can take our technology and pursue the ethical data storage movement in any which way that they are passionate about. And that's something that we're excited to do, is to relieve the burden on ourselves to sort of build out these complex tools for focus industries, but allow a whole community that we can network with at sponsored hackathons and sort of facilitate this introduction into a broad span of use cases.
I had a question. I'm outside this area. You mentioned, data safety from a perspective of medical records, et cetera, but then I also hear, we're going to sell your data. So can you just kind of explain it a little bit?
Yeah, so for the healthcare example, I'm going to use that because that's something we're heavily interested in. It'd be a little foolish to expect health records to kind of just relieve all of the potential revenue that they can make off of your health records, right? So what the sort of monetary model that we want to introduce is that for the first 5 years, or these predetermined numbers that we could all agree on, the health institution that created that data and they facilitated the introduction of that data into your ownership, they're going to earn 5% royalties on any data transactions that happen thenceforth. So this sale of data, it is people approach you to say, hey, your data could be used in this very complicated research study that we're conducting. We would love to compensate you for the data that you are introducing to us. But the other people that helped create this data in the first place, they're also going to get a cut. And IDDEC would also get a cut because this is a part of our business model as well. So that's the sort of business that we're hoping to propagate, where user-centric, the user is always being compensated for their data being used, but we want to facilitate a strong economy that can sustain this movement in the long term.
Bill, last question.
Do you find there's a marketplace for this? Are people really that concerned about their data and where it's going? I know that, people of a certain generation didn't want their data out, and then there's other folks at younger generations just don't care about their data, don't care who has it, how they're using it. So where do you see the addressable market, and who's asking for this?
That's a great question. So there are two approaches that we're interested in pursuing. There's the bottom-up approach, which you're describing, that the users are going to be the ones focused on introducing this movement. But then there's the, again, the healthcare example. We've partnered with CarePoint Hospital introducing an MVP where they will introduce that from a top-down approach, where they're almost going to say, this is the new system that we're using for your health records. You can opt into this because this is what we're using. And that'll sort of introduce this layer of technology, and we're hoping that it'll sort of introduce this new technology of blockchain in a different way that blockchain hasn't been able to be introduced before. It'll have more widespread adoption because now it's saying that this technology isn't used in a sort of like get-rich-quick sort of mentality. Instead, it is used as a utility first for convenience, and there's a cherry on top that you actually get to profit off of your data. Now for that bottom-up approach, we've actually attended hackathons and spoken with people from Polygon, the Ethereum Foundation, WorldCoin, et cetera, that we introduced this sort of ethical data storage movement because that's what we're passionate about. And they said that there are a ton of developers in this space that would love to pursue this type of standard because, again, we're creating a standardized method to introduce data to the blockchain ecosystem. What that means is that because it's a standard, all of these developers can take part in building out this open source code and finding all the edge cases, tidying up the code, alleviating any bugs or problems that we run across. And that bottom-up approach, there are a ton of people interested in this type of technology, and we've seen them, we've spoken with them, and we're excited to continue speaking with them down the line.
Fantastic. And again, the key learnings, interesting takeaways from this?
Yeah, so we're passionate about data security, passionate about empowering people with control and ownership over their data. We're passionate about Web3, so that's how we sort of arrived at this topic for our project. And throughout this project, we've been learning a lot about different encryption algorithms, how to store things in a decentralized manner against the sort of tradition of centralized storage. And we hope to continue learning more about this technology throughout the summer.
You guys think in 10 years Bitcoin's still a thing?
Yes.
Okay, we could talk more about that later. Round of applause for them, and can I ask all three teams to come to the front of the stage? So, yeah, you can come on up to your, up here. This is the super awkward, everyone stares at you part. So what you don't know is that I know which team is now advancing to the finals. And so we're going to announce which of these teams is moving on to be in the final 3 among these incredible final 10. So before we do, again, one more round of applause for these incredible teams and these presentations. The team that will advance to the final 3, No-Till Drill. Congratulations, we're going to show your pitch. You guys can head off stage. Thank you. Oh, yeah, you guys can head off. Thank you very much. And I believe we're going to see this. Yes?
Hey, how was your weekend? It was really great. I went to the market and ended up talking to a local farmer, Mike, about our project. He said he was struggling with soil erosion and declining crop yields. He sounds like just the farmer we've been looking for. Did you mention tilling? Yes, I asked him if he tilled his land, and he said he used tilling to stir up the dirt and prepare it for seeding.
Oh, you tell him how bad that is for his soil? What did he say?
He knows it erodes the soil quicker and reduces its ability to hold nutrients, but he couldn't afford to replace his tilling machine. He said,
You know, if everyone had that mindset, there's going to be a lot of problems with farming in the future. American farmers are already suffering over $3 billion in losses from soil erosion every year. At this rate, a fifth of our farmland is going to be completely eroded away in 100 years.
I know. He's heard of no-till farming, but he knows the machines on the market are low quality and have low accuracy planting seeds.
Not to mention the financial strain of buying a bunch of new equipment.
Despite these shortcomings, no-till farming is so important for preserving soil health and reducing carbon emissions. Our new design could help Mike make the switch. It is adaptable and affordable. It attaches to machinery farmers already own and improves seeding accuracy.
That's right. The improved no-till drill is specifically designed to address and solve these problems, delivering the ideal value proposition to our customers. We are improving current designs with the use of a linear actuator that extends and retracts to control the depth of the drill down to the centimeter. This guarantees proper seed depth into the soil and improves crop yield.
This is something farmers like Mike would really benefit from. Another key factor that makes our product stand out from current designs is the ability to attach to planting machinery that these farmers already own, drastically reducing the financial strain of switching to no-till when compared to the complete overhaul that our competitors require.
The no-till drill is going to be a boom for small farms, and of the 1.6 million farms in the U.S., 400,000 of them fit the profile of our ideal customer.
We will be selling each arm separately, as the amount of units needed per machine can vary with the size of the farm. But we project, on average, a farm will need 10 arms to work. We forecast creating business 200 units for one for $100,000. This means the green launch.
For sales aim in year one, our metrics indicate that we'll only need to engage in 1% of our target market. This is definitely an achievable number and also indicative of the depth of our market beyond year one. We will be able to double our market engagement for the first 5 years post-launch, yielding $1.6 million in annual revenue and nearly $800,000 in profits by the end of 2027.
In order to get our design into the hands of the farmers that need it, we will partner with current producers like John Deere as well as the USDA in order to establish trusting relationships with farmers and help educate them on the cutting edge of sustainable practices.
To reach these goals, we are asking for an initial investment of $150,000 in exchange for 15% of our company. This investment would cover the material and labor costs, including workshop space for our first 200 products, as well as advertisement of our no-till drill to farmers.
Our solution is the definition of innovative. No overhaul or regenerative agriculture practices are necessary. Rather, we take existing sustainability methods and make them more accessible and more effective. We're not building the tools of tomorrow. We are building better tools for today. Thank you.
Congratulations again to No-Till Drill. We can have the next companies come on out. While they make their way, let's meet some more judges. Giuseppe, you want to tell people a little bit more about yourself and SiteTracker?
Hi, everyone. As I mentioned earlier, Giuseppe Ansary, CEO of SiteTracker. We are a software platform that helps communication companies and energy companies build their network. They use us to manage all the physical work with deploying their assets. We've raised about $165 million to date from 10 investors, so that means I've done this maybe 10 million times. You get it wrong more than you get it right, but when you get it right, it's great. And we started in Fairfield, New Jersey, and now we're all over the world. And I think in our founding team, maybe 50% was from Stevens, so local story.
Awesome. One more. Quorum.
Oh, sorry. Hi, folks. My name is Quorum Gore. I'm an attorney at Verizon, alumni of Stevens. And what I've been doing for the last many, many years at this point is working with innovation teams, product development teams, and figuring out what their business models are, what their intellectual property is. And it's been just fantastic to see the work that everybody's done. I'm a little jealous that I didn't get to do these types of things when I was an undergrad. But it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to what you folks develop in the future, whether it's these businesses or something completely different. And all that really matters from my perspective is that you get the mindset that you can define new things and then chase them and then also express to others what you've found. So good job. Thank you.
Excellent. And Simon.
My name is Simon Kai. I graduated from Stevens in the physics department with a master's degree and a PhD degree. I joined a company called NSG America, specialized in lens, cell-fog lens at that time. And in 2009, we did a management buyout, which created the Go Photon, for which I'm a president and CEO right now. And we try to build on our core competency of optics and photonics. As the expert in the optics and photonics world, to be an innovator, and after all, we try to let our customer remember us as the problem solver to solve their problems. And yesterday, I met Provost Q, who asked me if I'm still in the physics field. I tried to convince him, because you can see, at least I know how to polish lenses.
All right, thank you, judges. And let's get on with the pitches. First up, let's go. I'm big on the clapping. Let's thank them, welcome them. There we go. So first up is GuideR.
Hello, everyone. GuideR is a mobile application that aims to provide visually impaired individuals with greater independence and confidence in navigating their environment. But why? Well, visually impaired individuals, they typically rely on the white cane. The issue with that is it has a very short or very limited detection range. You know, it's only 3 to 5 feet long, and it only detects objects that are pretty much at about floor or ground level. That's not ideal. What if they're about to walk into a table, or maybe there's a low-hanging sign? You know, obviously one of the biggest alternatives would be getting a guide dog, and who doesn't love having a pet dog in their life? The issue is guide dogs are very expensive. You know, all the training can cost upwards of $50,000 or $60,000. You know, there's a month-long wait list. And of course, you know, there's all the additional costs of just owning and maintaining a pet throughout its lifespan. We realized that visually impaired individuals, they needed a solution that was not only more accessible to them, but also had to be like very affordable and convenient for them. That is where GuideR comes in. The way that GuideR works is it's an iOS application that takes advantage of the LiDAR sensor built into recent versions of the iPhone. LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging. And how it works is it shoots thousands of tiny invisible lasers out multiple times a second, and it measures how long it takes for the light from those lasers to reflect back into the sensor. With that, it can get accurate depth information, and because it has such a high resolution, it can really map the environment around it. By analyzing various points in the environment, GuideR can predict what obstacle certain shapes are, and in doing so, it can actually alert the user with both audible and haptic feedback in real time, telling them what obstacles that they might be encountering. For example, it can tell them that there's a table 4 feet straight ahead, or there's a chair 3 feet down towards their left. This is what really gives them how accessible it is, just because they already have an iPhone. They don't need to purchase any new hardware. They're simply just downloading the app. They're not getting any used to any new devices as well. They just download the app. They point it around as they're walking, and that's how it works for them.
Let's make sure we leave some time for questions and feedback.
Of course, yeah.
But thank you. Judges, questions, feedback.
Hi. I wanted to know what motivated you to address accessibility. I think accessibility as tools and as a market has been around for a very, very long time, but we still see so many people with disabilities being left out. So what is it that drove you to want to address this issue?
Sure. What drove us, for me specifically, I have a gentleman in my parish. He's visually impaired, and it just happened. He just got into an accident, and someone who goes his entire life being able to see, and all of a sudden can't. It becomes overwhelming. He can't walk without his mom on his side, or if he doesn't have his mom on his side, he always has to have his hand on the wall because it gives him some type of security. And I thought, we're able to see. He was able to see. Okay, so then let's give him that description that he doesn't get from his eyesight. So yeah, and that's where it came about. Sure they can't see well, but at least they can hear, right? So we were able to let them use that type of skill instead.
Susan, I think you had some questions.
Yeah. No, I think what you're building is super exciting. It sounds to me like you're basically giving people the ability to see who really can't see, which is pretty cool, and kind of a reframe on the whole way that you might address a challenge like not being able to see. My question is really what you see as your business model and how you see going to market. Like, who exactly are your customers? Are they consumers? And how are you going to make money?
Yeah, of course. Starting out our business model, we plan to be a subscription-based app. We're offering a variety of price points. We're offering monthly subscription of $3.99 a month or a yearly subscription of $19.99 a year. The reason that we're primarily having a subscription is because that will actually help fund future development for us. And realistically, it might not sound like that's a whole lot of money, But when you kind of think about it, we're a software-first company. We're not developing any special hardware, so we don't have to worry about manufacturing or the types of quality assurance and engineering that goes into that. Being a software company, we can be really scalable, where as soon as we make any changes and perform the testing, we can push out an update and it's instantly there. And that's where the value comes in through the subscription, because they're continually getting new features and improvements that really help kind of with their mobility. Regarding the go-to-market strategy, we primarily want to partner with nonprofit organizations, especially those that help with mobility training for those who may have recently been visually impaired, or if they were born with visual impairments, they still need a training early on in their childhood. Through those partnerships, we hope to kind of get more publicity and more people doing that. And of course, we would love to offer wholesale licenses to the organizations, kind of like as a little incentive and a discount for those individuals who are the members. And that will help us kind of help to expand our user base. And then going on from there, we really hope to, Going on from there, we really hope to partner with health insurance companies to recommend it, and then they can maybe subsidize the cost for the customers. And we also would love to do social media campaigns where we can continue to expanding our reach as far and wide as possible.
I just wanted to add a quick note that in this disability area, the solutions that are out there are very expensive. We're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars just so that they can have some type of technology doing what we do. And we're providing them at a low cost. So I think we would grab users through that, having an affordable solution compared to the ones out there.
I wanted to ask you about the app, and if you look right now in the App Store, there's like so many applications, so many health-related things. How are you going to distinguish yourself? Are you going to have any sort of intellectual property protection associated with what you're doing? Have you thought about trademarking the name that you have so someone doesn't try to infringe upon your space?
So definitely trademarking the name would definitely be how we want to approach it, just because we're trying to be a company, and that way we'd be able to really protect our identity as a whole. And as you said, there are millions and millions of apps in the App Store. And that kind of leads us into a very interesting discussion, because being software first, you can't always necessarily have rights to how certain software works, right? We've had Google for the longest time, but who says Bing and Yahoo and DuckDuckGo can't exist? That kind of puts us in a little bit of a similar situation, where yes, other companies, they can develop similar solutions, but we really see that as an incentive, because that's actually very beneficial for the consumers and the market as a whole, because adding competition is really what helps to drive up value. The competitors, they drive us as a company to provide more and more features to kind of keep up and really maintain our user base. And it also incentivizes us to keep our prices low and accessible for the wide variety of users. That's what's really great about having competitors in the space. And we're hoping that because we have such an early head start in the market, there's no other app or service that's like that. There's other similar things, but they may require you to take a picture and wait for it to upload to a server. Our app is entirely offline. Nothing's leaving the phone, and it's continuous feedback. Every second, you're getting a new bit of information.
So we are out of time.
Okay.
I love the passion. I want you to answer in one sentence the question about the most interesting learning you've had in this process.
The most real interesting learning process that we've had was learning to work together and learning new things about developing applications and how applicable that they can be for those who have any kind of impairments, not just visual impairments, but this can expand to other types as well.
Excellent. Good job. Round of applause. Breathe Easy is next.
Hi,
And just to give you a heads up, I'm going to move us along just a little bit quicker. No offense, but whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, so we are Breathe Easy, and our project focuses on patients that have obstructive sleep apnea, which is a sleep disorder that causes their airway to collapse during the night. And the most common treatment option for this is a CPAP machine that sends pressurized air through the airways to keep them open. But the issue with CPAP machines is that they require these patients to wear a mask on their face the entire night. And these masks typically have excessive straps and headgear that can be very irritating to the skin and to the hair. So what we did is we designed a mask that eliminates the need for straps entirely, and it instead uses negative pressure technology to adhere the mask to the face. And then these patients don't have to worry about the irritation on their skin or hair loss from the straps that typically come with a CPAP mask.
Fantastic. Judges, Laura.
I
wish I had seen your product during the expo. Sorry about that. I missed that. I think this is such a really cool idea, and it seems to me it has potentially lots and lots of different applications. When you are wildly successful for this application, what would be your next area that you'd focus on?
Next area to focus on, like?
For using this technology that allows you to attach a mask to your face.
Yeah, well, once we delve into this area, we're dealing with a lot of competitors as well. So we really need to focus on making sure that our mask is as comfortable as it can be, limiting the amount of marks that are on the face, and making sure that our patients are really, I guess, supported by the mask itself, and that we want to make sure we get on the market along with fellow CPAP companies, major companies like Philips and ResMed. We're really hoping that we can focus on and work with them in the moment, and hoping through a licensing deal that we're able to move our product to the market in general.
I wanted to ask you, when you're talking about the market, are you also thinking about low, moderate income areas and global areas to be able to distribute the product, so it's not just someone who has perhaps more privilege and income being able to afford it?
Yeah, absolutely. The problem with a lot of these machines, they're very expensive. And that's something that we've almost taken into account, because with the utilization of vacuum and negative pressure, we hope that patients will have, I guess, less of a time to have to replace the entire headgear and everything within the 3-month period where they're commonly being utilized. So we hope that with this negative pressure and this vacuum, that they're able to do it for the long term by lessening the amount over the course of time. It's just an added part, but it also helps, I guess, lower the price amount over the course of time for the patient themselves.
I wasn't able to see a prototype either. Can you explain to me how it differentiates from nasal pillows, and also if it attaches and there still has to be the hose that comes from the CPAP machine, correct? Mm-hmm. How do you secure that?
So the CPAP hose stays on as it normally does onto the mask itself. However, there will be pretty much negative pressure supportive tubing that surrounds the CPAP mask itself, and it has ports where it applies to the face. It anchors onto the bridge of the nose and is able to approach it that way. The negative pressure port will be at the bottom. The negative pressure only focuses around the area of the mouth itself.
But where's the hose?
Yeah, so the hose is going to just, like, there's a normal hose that attaches to the CPAP machine, and ours would have an additional hose for the negative pressure, but this would just simply like attach to the outside of the CPAP hose, so they would be together. So it's not really adding an additional hose, since they're going to be clipped onto each other, and it's just one hose to worry about then.
Biggest learning in the experience?
I think for us, it's like really understanding the problem before you try to solve it. Because when we first thought about OSA, we thought about creating like an entirely different treatment option, but then we realized CPAP machines do work. The issue with them is just the mask design, so then we focused on that, and that's how we identified our problem before we started to solve it.
All right. Good job. Round of applause for Breathe Easy. Maritime Security.
Hi. So we are the Maritime Security Team. Right now, the United States Coast Guard and everyone in the maritime transportation system is having a major problem with hazardous cargo, especially when it is not complying to both US and international regulations. It can cause billions of dollars in damages when cargo fires happen, hazardous materials detonate, and ships eventually sink. Additionally, it can cause environmental catastrophes. It can decimate ecological systems as well as fishing industries. So what we're trying to do to mitigate this issue is we created an inspection algorithm using machine learning that targets every single cargo container that is coming in to the port. So we've been working specifically with Sector New York to work on implementing this system, and every cargo container receives a danger score that indicates how bad a failed container would be if it did indeed fail. So the beauty of this system is that it is actually being used and will continue to be used over the summer, and we are preparing for a rollout nationwide, so every port in the United States will use some version of this, and the other beautiful thing about it is it works. So we have been working with Sector New York this entire time on our project, and we haven't given them the entirety of the software yet, but they've just been using the foundational principles behind our model, and they've already found 3 times the rate of deficient cargo during their inspections.
Well done. Question, yes?
So you're heavily reliant on a data set that others are providing, right? So how can you kind of structure your business going forward so you have less dependency on whether it's government agencies or others providing you that data set?
Yeah, so our data is all given to us through the Freedom of Information Act. So it's not classified, there aren't a lot of restrictions on it, which enables us to use it for a multitude of things, including US Coast Guard inspections, but also our business idea is to expand to ocean liners so they can purchase our services, send us their cargo manifest so we can run it through our algorithm and give us their quote-unquote bad containers before they even put it on the ship, so in order to prevent incidents. So we have access to this data, and ocean liners would ideally willingly give us their data sets if they're hiring us. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
I've been very impressed with this real-world deliverable, and the benefit is very convincing because you have the data to support that. And I was a little bit surprised when I read your executive summary to say we just haven't figured out how to make money yet. And that's so honest. And today, this morning, Rita Gurvich mentioned to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be authentic. And you have that. And my question is just that. Have you figured out how to make money yet?
So we have pursued a lot of different avenues to try to figure out where our target market is and where it lies. As this problem is worldwide and it's obviously evident, we knew it was somewhere. We just took some time to figure that out as we started as a research team. And we have eventually have settled on the ocean liners. We think that targeting the ocean liners to adopt a proactive model before their containers set sail will ultimately save them money as well as time, because if their containers are being pulled over at the US ports for inspection, then that means that the product will take more time to be able to be sold. So it ultimately saves them time and money, and it will adopt a proactive model rather than the Coast Guard being mainly a reactive approach.
Great. The key is the benefit. Your benefit is there, very convincing. Just make sure who is benefited from this and start from there. And with this vision you have had established, you need to share that vision with your partners and customers so that they can buy in to make your success. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Learnings from the experience.
I think some of the biggest learning opportunities we've had with this is just realizing how big of a problem this really is. A cargo container goes on fire in the ocean about every 2 weeks, but you probably haven't heard that much about them. Our other biggest takeaway from this is that a supportive environment can really help you do anything. We've been lucky enough to partner with the Maritime Security Center, directed by Beth DeFerris, as well as the United States Coast Guard. The Chief of Safety and Security, John Hillen, has helped us every step along the way, along with Lieutenant Mike Clark. And that supportive environment has changed everything for us.
Excellent. I'm curious if any of you are pursuing these full-time as a commercial endeavor.
So I will be working as an intern this summer for Sector in New York to continue building the system. And hopefully, if things go well, eventually taking this to be a commercial endeavor.
How about the other 2 teams? Are you thinking about commercializing these? I'm trying to move quick, so more like a raise a hand is good. But yeah? Okay, great. Thank you. Come on up, let's see who's advancing. So let's hear it for Guidar, Breathe Easy, and Maritime Security. Advancing to the final 3. I've been in a lot of pitch meetings where people say, does it actually work? And the entrepreneurs say no. In this case, they said yes. I don't think that was the winning point, but it certainly helped Maritime Security.
Millions of cargo containers are shipped around the world every year to keep our supply chains operating. However, accidents caused by improperly declared hazardous cargo have risen, which has led to environmental disasters, billions of dollars in damages, and the loss of life. We partnered with the Maritime Security Center and the U.S. Coast Guard to address this issue. Our team created an algorithm that scores every hazardous container arriving at Sector New York ports on its level of danger by using historical data and machine learning. And our approach has been successful. Sector New York has applied the principles behind our algorithm to their inspection processes and has already found 3 times the rate of cargo deficiencies in comparison to previous inspection methods. We've also been highlighted by the DHS Science and Technology Directorate's social media, and we won the Maritime Risk Symposium poster contest.
We've been to the ports, we've witnessed inspections, and I'll be moving forward with an internship to continue implementing this technology this summer. For us, this is already a real-world deliverable beyond the Stevens Senior design bubble, and the potential here is huge. The system we built for the Coast Guard reacts to already packaged containers, but to truly prevent investors, we need to take measures. Just in this, a business, metrics, miners, decisions, time, avoid holding costs, and overall mitigate risks associated with hazardous cargo. Ocean liners will pay to ensure that the containers they choose to transport align with the inspection system we have calibrated. Our business model is tailored to a subscription-based offering. On average, it would equal about $50,000 per year for a medium-sized company that ships about 100,000 containers. The ROI is clear since they would pay a fraction of what they would stand to lose in the event of a cargo fire.
There is an unmet need in the maritime analytics market, and we have the qualifications to be leaders in this domain. We are seeking $400,000 for a 15% stake to help us launch our company. We have the expertise with the Coast Guard and the technology, but need to acquire additional personnel to round out our team, especially in the business, legal, and shipping industry talent areas. The market potential in this field is limitless. The maritime analytics domain has a market worth set at around $2 billion, and this is for the maritime industry alone. Our business will expand this proactive model to other transportation agencies as well, including rail, truck. Hazardous materials travel about 380 billion miles across the country annually, and accidents along devastate cargo by hazardous materials. First, must continue security. Second, ocean liners must make safer decisions by scrutinizing the cargo they transport. The way forward is driven by the highly actionable strategy created by the skilled team here at Maritime Security.
Congratulations, Maritime Security. And if the last 4 teams can come out, while they do, give a few more judges a chance to say hello. Susan, you want to share with people a little bit more about HAX?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Susan Schofer. I'm an investor at SOSV. We're a global VC firm, multi-stage investors into deep technologies around the themes of human and planetary health. And I'm also Chief Science Officer at HAX. HAX is our hardware startup development program. We're building a large site in Newark, New Jersey, just down the road from here. So if any of you at Stevens are building hardware and looking to get investment and hands-on help with engineering, then come talk to us. I'm not a Stevens alum, but I got my degree, my PhD in chemistry at the another Institute of Technology in California. So it's good to be here amongst the technology people and people who love science and innovation. So thanks.
Are you saying there are other institutes of technology?
There may be.
Say it ain't so. Judith.
Hi, I'm Judith Sheft. I'm with the New Jersey Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology. We support early-stage, innovation-intensive companies with seed grants, coaching on how to apply for some of these federal SBIR and STTR grants, so that we are all about non-dilutive funding to kind of help early-stage companies get to the point when angel investors and others are going to be interested in their opportunities. We also run a website called Research with New Jersey, which has information about all of the great technologies from our New Jersey universities.
Thank you. And lastly, Rita.
Thanks. Rita Soni. I am also a graduate of Stevens Institute of Technology. Very happy to be here. I am currently principal analyst for impact sourcing and sustainability research at Everest Group. We're a market research firm covering the global services industry, which is all lots of gobbledygook. What I'm interested in here is, having come to this sector as a techie and gone into doing social work, I'm really interested in the social entrepreneurship side of this. So I spent an accidental decade in India, which I think one of the team up here figured out. And during that time, I got the chance to work with a bunch of social entrepreneurs. So this has just been such an honor to do, second year in a row, and excited to see who wins.
Thanks again to all the judges for being with us, not just today, but for the input over the many weeks of this. And with that, let's hear from our last four companies. Vofix, you're up first.
Hi, we're Team Vofix, and we're developing a wearable speech monitor that was initially designed for spasmodic dysphonia, which is a neurological voice disorder. And the biggest issue is that during the diagnosis and treatment process, it's dependent solely on qualitative data, which can introduce a lot of bias and lead to inefficiencies in both diagnosis and treatment. So our device is a quantitative way to monitor vocal quality during both diagnosis and treatment to guide decision-making for doctors and clinicians. But we found that the market for SD is rather small, so we noticed that by just tweaking a couple of our algorithms and tracking things like vocal tremor, daily fatigue, or strain, we can create a vocal Fitbit that can be used by anybody who speaks, especially speaking professionals, people like educators, actors, and singers that would be able to change daily habits based off of information provided by our device and app to help prolong the time that they have a good quality of voice, which is integral in their profession.
Very interesting. Judges, feedback, questions.
You have all the potential customers on stage today. And I was impressed by your quick change for your applications. You see the challenges for the medical device application, then you move to Fitbit concept for general use. And this is a big part of entrepreneurship. When you have some challenges, you just don't give up, and you find new ways to succeed. And I'm very curious how you come up with that transition.
Initially, even when we were talking about SD, we knew that the market was small and that we wanted to expand beyond it. And as we were going into our second semester of IDE, we recognized that the viability by trying to make it a medical device at first would be more difficult because of the diagnostic capabilities that we wanted, so it would have to be classified as Class 2, and the FDA approval process, especially for a startup, is super timely and costly. And so by just shifting towards being a general wellness device, we're able to generate revenue in the short term and work more on the diagnostic capabilities of the device and be more equipped in the future in terms of both money and people and kind of like time working with the device to get it to that diagnostic capability that we initially had anticipated for it.
Question for you guys, which is, who do you see as your really earliest adopters, and how have you sort of segmented the opportunities now that you've pivoted and looked at a broader audience? Who do you think has got the biggest need and interest in this type of device and willingness to be your first customers?
I think that teachers, more than anyone, need this device. I've been attending college for 5 years now, and I don't know how all of my teachers can get through all of their classes day in, day out, and keep their voices working. In fact, one of my current professors, when I mentioned this device to him, he said he actually had to take a week off of teaching a couple years back because of his voice. And so more than anyone, I think teachers, more than any other presenter, need this device.
Biggest learning in the experience?
So we're engineers. We eat design problems for breakfast. What was a big learning experience for us was just getting this fit with a market, finding someone who needed our product, figuring out how to adapt that product to fit the people who exist, and getting a team of 5 people to all work together on that product and fit a timeline and get it to market.
Excellent. Good job. Congratulations, Vofix. Soma.
Hi, my name is Liz, and I am just a small part of the SOMA team. I look out into the crowd, and I see a very diverse group of people, and thank you so much for coming out tonight. I would love to tell you about SOMA, but the biggest statistic here, and you can see it in our faces, is that 60% of children are either immigrants themselves or children of immigrants. But despite that, by the third generation, their children will be monolinguistic, meaning that despite wherever they come from, they will no longer know their native language and will only speak English, which is fine in America. But to speak to your grandparents, your cousin, anybody who lives in your native homeland, that connection is lost. Me personally, I didn't get to know my grandfathers, which is sad because I didn't get to learn Spanish myself. But SOMA is here to enhance the interactions that happen for children every single day, every single year. American children read about 44 books a year, and 80% of the time they're reading with their parents. Why? To get audio feedback. How else do you learn to stand out your words than with the people you trust the most? SOMA is enhancing that interaction by providing you translated books into your native language so that you can get multimodal learning. Multimodal learning is learning in all different types of learning styles, whether that's tactile or touching, audio and hearing, seeing or visual. This type of learning method is 60% more effective than traditional learning styles. By SOMA translating the books you already know, Cat in the Hat, Peter Rabbit, Alice in Wonderland, they're stories your friends know, you grew up with, except they're translated into a second language where you can trace the words and get the pronunciation syllable by syllable. Not only are you getting connection to its English counterpart, but you're getting the connection to the stories you already know.
Good job. Questions, feedback from the judges?
So I myself, I'm an immigrant, and probably like the true target audience for your product. At this point, just to kind of fast forward, I speak 2 languages, which are English and bad English, right? And that third language, my actual native tongue is, I'm just absolutely awful at it, right? So I appreciate that. And I asked this question in the Q&A, but I think it's important here, which is, how will you develop a content library? How will you keep it fresh? How will you create, how will you have people coming back for new books, new content, new experiences?
Absolutely. So as we start to develop, we're focusing on the library of open licensing software. So there's a bunch of books already on the market and online that have open licensing that we are free to take and do what we want with. So essentially, we are creating a library in our first year, created the open licensing library of Peter Rabbit, Alice in Wonderland, those old storybooks that you read all the time because they're open to edit and use. However, we hope to publish and work with publishers like Simon & Schuster, Harper, Lady Bird Books, so that we're constantly having a library that is constantly growing. So we pay a wholesale fee for these licensing fees for their books. We put them through our software that provides that translation, provides that karaoke style reading to the consumer. So not only are you getting larger and larger libraries for that 2 to 7 prime learning time for children, but should you want to continue, should your child be a particularly advanced reader like I was, the library and the publishers are providing all different types of levels for reading.
I want to get one more question in. Go ahead. Last one.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the business model and the pricing because, again, I'm concerned that we have great disparity in terms of household incomes. And how are you going to be able to be sure that children from all levels of income families are going to be able to take advantage of your wonderful tool?
Well, our app, we'll have 2 tiers. We'll have a free tier and a monthly subscription. So with the free tier of the app, we'll have ads with it so we can make some ad revenue off of that. But our users will have the option to buy the premium subscription, which will be a monthly subscription, and with that, they'll get free books every month in addition to no ads with that service. That way we can provide the app to everybody regardless of how much income they have for free with just having to see a couple ads every now and then.
Biggest learning from one of you on this experience?
I think the biggest and most rewarding takeaway from creating SOMA is the community. Not only is our team a team of immigrants, children of immigrants ourselves, but to see the different people come up today, come up during our journey of creating SOMA, whether they don't know their native language themselves, had to relearn it like I did, or are people like retired elementary students and teachers desiring, wanting to connect with their children or wanting to connect with their ancestry has been beautiful.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Efficiency.
Hello, so we are representing Efficiency, and what we've done is we've designed and developed a collection of children's educational games which are meant to pair with lesson plans to teach children about various concepts relating to efficiency, hence our name. Our work is originally based on research which identified sources of software inefficiencies specifically, and what we've done is we've really broken down these concepts to make them understandable to students at any level of understanding of programming, whether they have no experience or if they are completely fluent. We intend on introducing our product into curriculums in New Jersey as well as across the United States, where it is becoming increasingly common that elementary and middle schools are teaching advanced concepts like programming, and we hope to benefit students by preparing them with the skills they need in their daily lives and when they go into their future careers in fields like software engineering or other fields of engineering or really any career.
Great. Questions? Laura?
I really like your product and the approach that you have. It reminds me of the difference between critical thinking and learning math. This is, these basic concepts versus learning programming. And my question to you has just fallen out of my head. My question to you is, you have these 8 areas of, that you're focusing on. How do you go from taking these areas that you wanted students to learn to the games that you created? What was that process for you?
So that process was very long. I mean, the entire first semester was spent doing just that. So we have the 8 ideas, and the first thing we did was try and simplify them in ways that not only that we could understand, because they are advanced concepts and we did struggle for a little bit until our professor clarified some things for us, but realistically we just spent a lot of time just simplifying and then taking that simplification and drawing storyboards to create pictures in our minds of what we could really do with these games.
Bill, putting you on the spot.
So what age do you think this is most appropriate for to start? I know you said K through 12 that you're looking to do. Is it really K through 4? Are you going to target 4 through 8? What is really where you think the most impact would be initially?
So
thanks, Aaron.
So I think the biggest impact will be in around the 4th to like 7th grade range. When we did a trial run, it was with a 4th grade class, and they had just started learning about computers. They were learning about inputs and outputs, and they had started working on their term project, so to speak, of creating their own games. So they were very excited to see our games. I think the best age is probably around 5th grade, once they've already had a little bit of experience with coding, but we do recognize that we are fully capable because of our ability to just translate these into logical problems to target younger audience as well.
And sorry, we got to move on. But can you share?
Can I give him one suggestion? Is look at the Department of Education, again, federal funding, because they'll do.
If you're looking for free money, talk to Judith.
Yeah, money, money,
What's
money.
your biggest learning in this experience?
So for me, it was really trying to connect with kids and making everything understandable for them. I had a great time teaching kids when we did our trial run, and I think they learned something.
Excellent. Round of applause for Efficiency. Nicely done. The last pitch from Digital Coach.
Yeah. So hi, we're Digital Coach. We're an online application that provides interview practice and personalized feedback. I know a bunch of us on stage as seniors and in the crowd have gone through like hire views or Zoom interviews, and it's hard to understand how to come across in an interview, especially online, where you can't view body language and things like that to convey yourself properly. So we have mock interview practice where you live record yourself answering a couple interview questions, and then it'll go through our AI and ML models to kind of give you personalized feedback, feedback such as eye contact. There's language processing to kind of sort out filler words or if you're staying on topic. And hopefully when users continue practicing with our application, they're able to ace their online interviews.
Excellent. Susan?
Do you have data to show that it really works? Have you gone through some case studies and had some success with that?
We don't have any data to show necessarily that it works, but we have done research with like personality models and I think the Big Five model, which are like data about what interviewers look for. And then we base our algorithms on that.
How do you monetize this?
So we are planning on doing kind of a subscription program where we have a free tier where you have a limited set of questions that you can practice from, and then we'll have a paid subscription tier that'll be paid monthly, and users can access more questions, company-specific questions, as well as track their progress and other things.
Giuseppe, last question.
I was wondering if you guys thought of any other use cases. You know, you're talking about interviews, but maybe sales professionals or executive presenters, something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So right now we're targeting kind of like new grads or entry-level professionals, but I think as we continue to grow our platform, it would be interesting to see how we can market this towards other people. I mean, we had been planning for later on to target like mid-career professionals, and this would kind of include maybe leadership workshops, or understanding how to present yourself to a crowd of people, a room of people, and learning that way.
All right. Can I ask these four teams to please come up? Let's see who's advancing to the final round. Hello. So, the final team in the final three, among the final 10, is Vofix. So if I could, thank you very much. You guys can head out. We're going to watch the pitch. You guys can hang out here.
Your voice is part of your identity. When it fails, uncertainty creeps in. Can all my students hear me? Am I engaging? Can I make the sale? Will my investors believe in my vision?
We're a team of biomedical engineers cracking the code of spasmodic dysphonia, a rare vocal disorder.
One day, you wake up, your voice sounds like this, and you don't know why.
Because it's so rare, your doctor doesn't know either.
We monitor treatment progress using a wearable contact microphone. It rests against the throat like a necklace or a fashionable tie, streaming vocal data. That the approval. Million one rare disease. Such a tiny market.
No. Look at the bigger picture. There's 4 million teachers in the U.S., half of which experience some degree of vocal output. 20% of missing work, and one has been forced.
Yeah, I get it.
Ironic, particularly in your presentation.
1 day of working a year, that comes out to 130 million in lost revenue. That's
still too small. Bigger. How many people speak for a living? There are millions of performers, sales reps, and CEOs. 18 million adults report some vocal disorder, and the NIH estimates that communication disorders cost the U.S. at least $150 billion annually.
By tweaking just a couple algorithms, we turn the speech marker into the VoFit. It tracks indicators of hoarseness, breathiness, and fatigue throughout your day to tell you how much of your stamina you've expended and estimate how much longer you've got before you need a break.
Wearable technology can help users grow out of their unconscious habits. With in-app coaching, we anticipate improving vocal endurance by 30% and preventing vocal nodules entirely. Having a strong voice you can depend on improves confidence and general well-being, and having the tools you need to use your voice properly can get you there.
By pivoting away from diagnosing specific disorders, we can build a customer base as a general wellness device, allowing us to enter the market today and postponing the multi-year FDA approval process until we're better equipped.
At 20 million units annually, North America is a premium market for wearable fitness trackers, where the VoFit can retail for $140 each.
After a year to build up production capacity, we will capture 50,000 sales in the following year via PPC ads and social media. We want to see VoFit featured on the New York Times, Facebook, Instagram. Online advertising will allow VoFit to reach millions of professionals in need of a solution.
Our marginal cost of production was just $40. Retailing at $140, that comes to $7 million in revenue. Considering our fixed costs, initial production, marketing, labor, it's of $2.5 million by the end of 2025.
Not only are we viable right now with an enormous market of working professionals, We're viable in the long term with future iterations geared towards medical diagnosis for a wide range of vocal disorders. Our Slack channel is open. Ask us how.
We're looking to double our current team of 5, hiring specialists in production, software, and marketing.
We're offering a 36% stake in exchange for $4.5 million to cover first-year costs so we can start investing in production infrastructure and talent.
A powerful voice resonates for generations to come, whether in the classroom, concert hall, or at home.
Consider the impact of MLK, Obama, Oprah.
Your voice can shape the future, but only if you protect it. With the data in your hands, you ensure your legacy will be heard.
Loud and clear.
Nice job. So, can I ask you guys to step up and grab a mic while you're at it? And then can I also welcome back Maritime Security and No-Till Drill? The top 3. Starting with Vofix, anybody you'd like to thank?
Obviously our teammates, they're sitting right there. They can wave, hey. We also want to thank Dr. Popolo, who originated the idea, and Dr. Valdzovit for helping us in the design process, as well as Matt Wade. He helped us a lot with how we wanted to market and promote the device, and the BME department as a whole for being so supportive of us during this entire time.
We are basically all the same. Our team, our lovely team over there, we'd also like to thank Matthew Wade for all the helpful criticism along the way. And our advisor, Professor Fontaine. Any other thanks? Yeah, same with us. We'd like to thank our team. Dan and Dahan is over there. Laura isn't with us today. She's out at Penn Relays supporting, representing Stevens. We'd like to thank Matt Wade, obviously. Thank you very much, as everyone else. And again, Beth and Mr. Hillen, who are here today. And Professor Bayrak, who was our advisor. And everyone at SSE. Thank you.
We're good? All right. Should we find out who won? Or we could just call it, leave him hanging. I want to reinforce one point, which is having done this now for many years and producing similar events myself, I know just how much effort and dedication it takes to run these and to work with these groups and to wrangle judges and to get me to finally respond to your email. So how about a big round of applause for Matt Wade for making this event happen. Who here learned something new? Raise your hand. Who was a bit inspired? Keep them up. Now high five your neighbor. There you go. So, the way this works, the third place winner wins $2,500. The second place winner wins $5,000, and the winner wins $10,000. I'm going to tell you who is in second place. I don't make the rules. We already thanked Matt. You can yell at him later. You want to cheer people on? Give me a thumb, the pat your knees. There we go. The drum roll. That's what I'm looking for. In second place. Why get so quiet? No-Till Drill. And the winner of $5,000. So can we ask Maritime Security and Vofix to step up? This is like old school American Idol. Just gonna let them hang out there for a little while. Who wants Maritime Security to win? Who wants Vofix to win? The winner is, and the recipient of $10,000, Maritime Security. Congratulations on third place, Vofix. I believe we want to have the Maritime Security team come up here for a photo. I also want to welcome Nariman back up on stage. Congratulate the winners. I also want to congratulate all of the teams who participated. Really, really excellent job. Oh, we do have a giant check. I was hoping we would. Do we want the next team? Yes? No? Second place, no-till drill. Congratulations, no-till drill and Bofix. Congratulations. How about one last round of applause for all the teams today? I shared earlier the trademark infringement I dealt with Propellify and Propeller. The reason it is called Propellify is because it's about the embodiment of propelling ideas into action, that you can't just sit on the sidelines. It takes action to make innovation happen. And I think today's Expo is an incredible showcase of exactly that, propelling incredible ideas into action. This program's been fantastic over the many years that I've been in. I had the pleasure to MC it. And I just want to congratulate all of you again for your incredible work. You are all invited to join us at Babio, I believe, for networking, drinks, high fives, or maybe fist bumps with Nariman. I hope to see you all there. One last round of applause for all the teams today.